Hello guys, welcome back. Now if you hear me in a weird way it's because I have COVID. Now I'm gonna tank it and still make videos because I am that guy, I'm him. So in today's video I wanted to talk about an interesting topic in my opinion, which is the free-to-play planning for the future, right? Now there's a lot of characters coming up. A lot of people are stressing about who to get, who to not to get, depending on like, okay, I have this account, who do I get? Should I get this? Should I get that? Now, in this video, I'm going to try my best to include every possible combination of accounts so you can like have a clear understanding on what to do. If you can, if you do, the video ends and you don't know yet, then feel free to ask me in a comment and I will hopefully reply, okay? If I see it. There's a lot of people commenting constantly. So if I don't see it, you know why. And it's not on purpose, okay? So let's go with order. First of all, we are about to go soon in 2 weeks in 1.3. 1.3 is going to have Shamane first and then Black Dwarf. Now, Shamane is in a rough spot in my opinion. So why would you want to pick up Shamane? You don't, unless you like Shamane. I'm going to be very blunt in this video, okay? You don't really want Shamane unless you like the character, design and gameplay. Because it's not like he does anything crazy, right? He debuffs, it's very AP friendly if you don't want to do any damage, which you will not do because you only can get P0, right, as a free-to-play. So he debuffs mental and reality and also gets damage taken to the enemies debuff, which is fine and all, but that's the only thing he does. You would say like, you might say like, okay, but that's pretty good, right? Yes, but I feel like Getian kind of power creeps his ass, and personally I would go for Getian instead because it's cooler to me, and because he provides a little more than just debuffing and then chilling, right? He provides a little more and is way more active as a character than Shamane. So I would skip Shamane unless you like him, but if you like him then you don't care about this video. You have the characters that you like and you just pick those, right? Now, keep in mind that as a free-to-play, you will be able to get around 64 pulls per patch, including everything. Dailies, weeklies, limbo, every pulls, like the daily logins, like the 14 pulls that we get for free in the patch, everything. Including everything, you get 64 pulls per patch. Now, with that in mind, unless you have, let's say you're not saving, right? You have a 0 pulls. You're going to have 64 pulls on in 1.3 and then 128 on 1.4. So you could try your luck and get a character in each patch, because that 128 is like almost enough for like one guaranteed, but you don't know, maybe you get lucky, right? So first of all, I would skip Shamane in my opinion, because if you don't really need another debuffer, and if you need another debuffer then might as well wait for Getian, right? It's not like a situation where you need a DPS and you don't have it, and you have a whole Aflados without a DPS, and every time Utu needs it you go like shit, right? It's not like a Black Dwarf situation, which let's talk about right now. Black Dwarf is a little more interesting in my opinion, and no, in my opinion she doesn't really get power crapped by Chu. Eternity does. Eternity should be benched in my opinion. Because she's basically, she doesn't deal enough damage. She just doesn't do it. She does in the sense that you can play the game and clear everything with Eternity, yes. But the new characters, Black Dwarf deals more damage, Chu deals more damage, but Chu is coming in 1.6. So you could get Black Dwarf in 1.3, get the Aflados covered, and now if you need, right? And then you wait, and then you get Chu when she arrives. Why would you do that? Because like Black Dwarf is mental and Chu is reality. So they can coexist. Sure, you might want to use one character rather than another most of the time, but they're so far away from each other that if you don't have a Flados covered for mineral, you don't have Eternity, you're not picking up Black Dwarf because you want to get Chu. Now it's a little bit of a problem because 1.6 is coming in like 6 months, right? If we even getting the character, because the character would be completely outside of the Chinese New Year. I don't know if they care about that in global. We'll see, I guess. But for now, we have to wait and see. I would personally pick up Black Dwarf if you need Mineral Afflatus. If you don't need Mineral Afflatus because you have Eternity, then you have your Eternity built, then you don't need Black Dwarf, I guess. And you can just either you continue use Eternity, escape Black Dwarf and Shamane, and skip Chew as well, or replace Eternity with Chew whenever that time comes. But it's going to be so long that you played Eternity for enough time, and now it's time for her to retire, right? Now, that was 1.3 in my opinion. 1.4, it's a little different. It's more black and white in my opinion, because 37 is very situational in the sense that, like, if you really like her, you have to do stuff, specific combinations, or if you don't like her, then it's an easy skip, because she needs Eureka generation, a lot of Eureka generation, to make use of her passive, which is the follow-up attack that does like Genesis damage AoE, which is pretty good, but you want to spam that as much as you can. And with 37 at P0, you need the help of follow-up units like Lilia or New Babel, so you need to have those as well. So if you already have one of those or both, and then you like 37, then she will work at P0. On top of that, if you really want to, you could wait, skip 1.3, get 37, and then get to 1.5, which is skipping the rest, which 37 is going to be first. So you're going to have another half patch of skipping if you skip 6, and then you pick up Spathodea, you skip, so that's a whole patch, and then you get Ezra Theodore, right? Because Ezra Theodore is a nice support unit that debuffs and also gives a shield, and the main event for 37 is that Ezra gives a Eureka. So it's another option to make her work well at P0, okay? But if you don't like 37, then you should skip, okay? Now, when it comes to 6, now you don't need 6, right? You don't need 6 as much as you need a Tooth Fairy, let's say, because Tooth Fairy is a healer and she's so powerful that like everybody wants to use her, right? So it's not fair to compare the two too much. But I just mentioned it because I feel like 6 could be a must pull for certain accounts. Okay, now 6 is a very powerful buffer and debuffer. The only downside, I would say, that you can't really choose which buff or debuff you apply. You just apply them all basically. But his I3 makes it so it's a little easier to have a lot of buffs going on at the same time. So this, now I don't remember exactly, but there is I believe a bunch of characters that deal more damage the more buffs they have. I don't remember who it was on the top of my head, so excuse me for that, but having a lot of buffs constantly on the team is going to be a lot of value. At the same time, debuffs on the enemy. He has a pool of 6 buff and a pool of 6 debuffs, I believe. And if you do Exalt while he has 6 Eureka, you also get more damage, plus 75% damage for each stack of debuff the enemy has. Each type, not stack. Each type of debuff the enemy has. So if you can get to a max of 1000%. So even though it's not that AP friendly, if you really want a mega buffer, you could skip Shamane, get Black Dwarf. I think if you want to do that, you can, or skip Black Dwarf as well. Skip 37, get 6, and then skip Spathodea and Ezra and pick up Getian and Chu, right? That's a good option in my opinion. Personally, what I'm gonna do is pick up Black Dwarf and 6, and then skip everyone else, and then get everybody from 1.6. Now, I'm not free to play, so what I say doesn't really matter. It's not relatable, but I'm not even like a mega spender. I just want to be sure to get the characters that I want, and if I need to pay a little bit to push the luck and get to the next trigger, I will, but it's not like I'm spending hundreds of euros, right? So 6 is a really good unit, but it's not by no means, in my opinion, a must pull for everybody. It just depends on who you have on your roster and how much you value his kit, okay? Now, moving on 1.5. 1.5, I know Spathodea is a beast DPS reality, and she applies burn as she revolves around setting up and using the 15 stacks of burn to deal the maximum amount of damage. The problem with Spathodea is that she needs Ulu to work, which is not a good thing to me, in my opinion. You need to bring Ulu everywhere you want. everywhere you go. And Ulu needs to be I3 because she gets the I3 AoE burn application that makes the burn uptime a little better. Now, the Spathodea is really fun. She is. And she's pretty strong. I don't know at P0 how strong she is, but at P5 she's like ridiculous, right? She's very, very, very strong. You can probably solo. I don't know if you saw me on the last stream. I asked ChatGPT to make me a team, and he made me use all the PSs, and I basically soloed the U262 boss with Spathodea, P5, right? Because that Spathodea was P5, so I did like 2 punches and it just killed the boss. So P5 is insane. You could try and get as many portraits as you want, as you can, if you save from now until Spathodea and you skip everybody, if you really, 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 really like Spathodea. I don't think it's a good idea in my opinion. I always prioritize character variety and roster variety than having one mega strong unit, then it's just one, right? Oh, just Shamanic P5, and then you have like 2 characters besides them, right? Just because you got 5 Shamanes. So I don't think it's a good idea as a free-to-play, right? So if you're getting Spathodea because you like her, good. Otherwise, you might skip her. You might want to skip her because how do you not have a Beast DPS? There is no way you don't have a Beast DPS. Oh my god. So, basically what you can do is get Spathodea if you like Spathodea. Otherwise, skip, because the burn, in my opinion, the burn mechanic is shit. For now, it's not that good. And it's really annoying to keep up. She needs 15 stacks, and every time burn triggers, it loses half of the stack. It's really, really annoying. So you need to like wait a little bit, get like the buffs going on, get all the punches set up, and then you can finally attack. It's a little weird and annoying. So hopefully maybe in the future they make a new character that makes burning a little better. But besides that, I feel like Spathodea is not a must pull unit, and as a free-to-play, unless you like her, you shouldn't pick up Spathodea. Rather, you should pick up Centurion, because Centurion is getting a rerun banner really, really soon. So if you don't have Melania, you can pick up Centurion when she arrives, okay? If for whatever reason you don't have a Beast DPS, but maybe you're using a 5-star, right? So you're using like Sweetheart or something. In that case, yes, then if you don't like Spathodea, you can easily go for Centurion. Or Melania if we ever get a rerun in the future. Now, Ezra, personally, I'm gonna be blunt here. Ezra is only good if you wanna play 37. Otherwise, you don't need Ezra at all. It's too situational in my opinion. He can solo sustain because he has 1 shield, and even though the shield is pretty good because he scales with its very high HP, the shield only lasts for 1 turn, which is not enough to solo sustain in my opinion. Yes, he debuffs and stuff like that, but overall, he also applies 1 Eureka to enemies and Moxie not to enemies. 1 Eureka and 1 Moxie to the allies, which is fine and all, but if as a free-to-play, unless you're playing 37, you have the 37 plan, then you should skip to Ezra. You know why? Because you don't need to waste pull on Ezra when you can do the same with other characters for 37. You don't need you don't need Eureka generation coming from Ezra necessarily if you don't have 37, right? So in that case, that's a skip. If you're playing 37, then maybe if you have Lilia, let's say, then maybe getting Ezra might help a little bit with 37 uptime on the Eureka generation, which is fine. Now, that was 1.5. Let's conclude with 1.6. I feel like 1.6 is so far the strongest patch that we're gonna get. The characters look really, really, really good and strong. They look insane. If you want to see how they look, I made a couple videos on their gameplay on my channel. Go check them. And basically, Chu, I think she's called Chu Nyanzi, something like that. Sorry if I butchered, but I don't know how she's pronounced exactly. This should be Chu. Now, she's a mineral DPS reality, so she doesn't really replace with Black Dwarf, but she replaces Eternity instead, IMO. I think they can coexist with Black Dwarf. You feel free to disagree, but I think they do. So I think it's still, if you get Black Dwarf, it's still worth to get she after she arrives, because she's a true limited and she's gonna be very, very strong. True limited means that after she goes away on her banner, the usual mechanics on the banner apply. There's no crazy high or crazy low percentage. You get the same treatment of a normal banner. The only difference is that you get a ticket every time you pull, and then at 200 you can buy a copy of Chu. Otherwise, you can buy, if you don't get to 200, you can buy other stuff, I believe. But on top of that, the banner is gonna go away forever, let's say, or it's gonna come back once every year. That's why it's true limited. So keep in mind that if you really want to get the character, you don't want to miss the banner when it drops. So you might want to skip, like, let's say 1.5 and part of 1.4 to get enough pulls to guarantee Jiu. Now, if you don't want to get Jiu for whatever reason, because you don't like the character, whatever, I don't care. That's not the point. But you want to get Getian, then still same concept. Then if you want to get Getian, then you don't need Shamane, right? If you're planning on getting Getian, you can freely skip Shamane 37 and even 6 in my opinion, and then get Getian. Because you can do 6 is fine and all, but they don't really share the same team together. So if you're struggling on pulls, if you're not getting lucky on your pulls, then you might even sacrifice 6 to get Getian. Getian, in my opinion, is really strong. Is a beast support DPS. He debuffs. He enters like a domain stance, domain expansion, and it's very AP friendly while blasting damage on the enemies. And it's gonna be really strong. And in my opinion, I don't know why people don't like his design, but in my opinion, I really like his design. It looks badass. It looks like a mythological creature that comes here to spell the end of the world. Like, have you seen the trailer? Go check the trailer if you didn't watch it. It's still on my channel. It's like the PV. There are these long story pieces that are really, really good, like with the characters, right? So that said, so Getian is a really good unit, and Jiu as well. So if you can, as a free-to-play, and especially if you need the rolls, you should save and pick them up, right? On top of that, you also get free Yenisei, most likely, from one of these two banners. I don't know if both banners have it. I think Jiu has Yenisei, but maybe even Getian has her. Because Jiu is a true limited, so we might have different, right? You might know one to pull on that one, and maybe they put Yenisei everywhere. Yenisei is a good healer. She's a 5-star, so you might be able to get her passively by getting the other characters, but she's a really nice healer, 5-star. So if you need a healer support, I think she does like she has like a current combination now. I don't really remember, sorry, but you can go check her kit on my video. I made a video about her, and on the gameplay, go check in the description. There's gonna be a kit, and you can read the kit, which is really good though. I feel like she's really good for a 5-star. I think she has like a shield and a heal, and you can target the heal. I believe it's coming back to me. You can target the heal to one guy that you want, and the other guy, after you heal the first guy, the second guy with the lowest HP gets healed as well. If you, you want to play cards with 2 or level 2 or level 3, and you get extra mechanics from those cards if you play like that. And also her insight also plays with this concept in mind. Now exactly everything I don't really remember, and I don't want to go Google because you can just do that as well, right? I don't want to bother you too much. So that's it. I think it cleared your mind a little bit more, right? On what to do. If you still are unsure, or you have a special account roster that you are unsure of and makes you confused, then feel free to tell me in the comments, okay? So for now, that's it. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.